Okay, so we're working on 3 different half guard passes. These are to be focused on different hand places of my partner, what would be a little bit easier for me to do for one pass versus another. So for this time, Chris has his forearms in. I have my half mount-ish position, but his forearms are underneath me. So in this position, he's very likely to be pushing and shrimping. So I gotta watch out for this extension. In this move, we're gonna bring my hands back onto the hip and the knee, or sorry, the hip and the shoulder, slide up, try to get the underhook, crawl my hand away to get my foot free. Okay? Now, being a tall guy, I'm a little bit taller than Chris, I'm 6'2". I'm likely gonna use my hand because I have good use of my length, but for Chris with me, he's gonna be using his head, so I'll demo that one here. So again, he's got his forearms in. I wanna do the best I can to try and keep him flat with his shoulder down. Hand goes to his shoulder and his hip, pop up onto my feet, turn. Now, as I come down, put my head underneath his head and collect his wrist, or sorry, his elbow. This hand is gonna go underneath underhook, and I'm gonna walk through. Now, Chris probably is gonna hold on to my foot fairly well, and I have to try and work my leg through and then possibly kick and kick to get my leg out. But what the goal is, if you grab my foot, please, Chris, is to try and bend his body the best I can, put that pressure on him to run around. Okay? So that turning pressure is what's gonna help. Again, being a tall guy, I'm gonna have a little bit of success using my hand to spider my way out in that position. Last time, try to keep him flat, pop up, down, hand, crawl, kick my leg out, or use my foot to clear my leg. Second, I have the same position here, legs caught in the middle, but now instead of arms underneath, Chris is holding on to me. So hug my back. There, so this is getting some more classical half guard passes here. I can't just push up anymore because he can hold on to me. What I want to try and do is pull his lapel out, feed it to my other hand, pull in tight, hand on his knee, walk my knee up, hip in. Good. When Chris tries to knock him backwards, that's where you clear your leg out. Here's where it's going to go wrong though. This is, although a very strong grip to have, can be a difficult grip to get. So if this is more tucked into his belt, what happens is the threat is Chris is gonna get onto his shoulder or get his shoulder off the floor, get his hip off the floor, and very commonly a lot of people like putting this knee in. Okay, so it's something I have to be concerned about. So his gi is tucked in here. I have the underhook, so that's great. I grab his armpit with my 2 fingers, try to pull back and keep his shoulder flat best I can. But now when I try to reach this, can you get your hip out and get your knee in? That's gonna happen. If this happens, you gotta let go of the lapel. Don't bother with it anymore. So how you deal with that is, I want him flat, and I gotta be patient. Keep this elbow by his hip. Chris, get your hip out. There you go. Anytime during the move that I start to reach for your lapel, try to work your hip out. Okay, go ahead. There we go. So that's the crux of the move is a lot of people will try too hard to stretch the gi out or open up the lapel, and now his hip's off the floor. And as soon as his hip's off the floor, his knee's gonna be in. So we gotta keep a little tension on the inside of your elbow, pushing his hip inwards, and try to keep pressure on the shoulder. If I have heavy, I'm gonna use my chin as an example, heavy pressure on the shoulder, get your hip out. It's difficult, get your hip out, go, go, go. But possible, it's difficult, but possible. He's gonna be able to wiggle it out and then up. But how much pressure, you felt how much pressure is there. I'm gonna put 1/3 of the pressure on his shoulder with my chin, and I'm just gonna put a little pressure on his hip pushing this way. Get your hip out. Okay, so far less effort from me. Now the only other thing you gotta watch out for, when Chris is doing it, is on the back side here. He's getting his elbow in, and he's gonna start pushing and get a half guard, or sorry, get a full guard. You get your guard back. So if you feel your partner getting, while you're trying to dig this out, he's working his elbow in. Watch what I'm doing with my left leg here. So here, I start working. Pinch his legs with your leg. A little pinch, there. Now, hand grabs, inside the knee, fingers down, walk my foot up, bring my hip up and put my hip inside. So my knee is inside his belly. So when Chris goes to bridge, there's where I can put my foot out and then walk back into position. Okay, and then again, to show from this angle. Sorry, in. Bang. Pressure on the shoulder, keeping his hip flat, working the gi out. Take your time, don't rush. He's getting his elbow in, there's no threat right now. There you go, here, up, pop, and now just wait, be patient. If I'm sitting kind of side saddle, so it feels like I'm off balance. So if Chris tries to bridge, right, I'm pretty strong here still. Shove me back with this arm, not much of an issue. Shove me back with that arm now, that's a problem. You can just punch this one up to the roof. That's where you're gonna have a problem. Big guys are gonna dump you backwards. So we wanna try and keep his shoulder on the floor best we can and keep him looking up or that way. Turn into me with your hips. Go to your knees, go to your knees. Very difficult. So if I can keep him looking up, that's gonna help me out, which leads me to my last and my third one. Sometimes you have your half guard, but he has the underhooks. So this is definitely a little more concerning position, but remember, he's most dangerous when either he can get my hips up in the air or get to his side. So I really want to try and make an effort to keep Chris flat. So I'm going to get my head control, which is very standard, and then I bring my head to the floor and put Chris in a brace where he can't move his neck. All I want him to do is look straight up. He might turn his head a little bit to either side, but that's it. We got to watch the pressure in his neck this way so that you don't hurt his neck. And bridging is not going to be a very comfortable position for him on this one. They may try to bridge that they can hurt the neck, so you have to be careful. So I have the head control, good, hands out for balance, head down, and then walk my leg up and slide through, shoulder pressure, and clear the leg. I'm not worried about this hand being out because he already has the underhook. The goal is to keep him looking up and flat. The less favorite would be this version. I got the wrong arm, so he's already got an underhook and my head's on this side. This is a lot more threatening because he can get his shoulder off the ground, and then if he ducks out, he's on my back. So you can still do this, but it takes a little bit more effort. I gotta make sure, weight on my elbow, weight on my head, push my head into him, and then same thing. Chris is holding on, hand can come out, knee comes up and push, or knee comes up and push. In this case, you're probably better off going to mount than to beside your partner in Kasekatami, but the focus being on box his head in, make him look straight up, and then walk to the side. So one more time, do the last one more time. Right. He's got a half guard, but he got an underhook. Drive my shoulder in, or the chest in, to collect, head down, hand can go out, try to look to left or right, very boxed in. Now hips come up, hold on to my leg, pinch, pinch. There, walk, walk, walk. Good. Now if I need that hand, I can push or use my foot to slide. And if it's on the other side, same thing, grab my leg, weight on the elbow a little bit more, up, 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 foot comes in, and go. Okay, so you have 3 different half guard escapes or passes based on where hand placement your partner might have. Keep in mind that second one with the lapel is a very reliable one, but takes some time. It slows the match down, which is great. It's a very functional way to pass, but it's also gi reliant. You can attempt it without the gi, but it's a little bit more challenging because the goal should be to keep the shoulder on the floor. So in that case, the last pass we used would very likely be my no gi one, and you can do it with an underhook as well. It works fine if they have the underhook, so kind of double duty there. Have fun, guys.